This shit feel like ain't seven. Put lines on through my ass. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven. This shit feel like ain't seven.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Money Down, the Believe Network. Back again with another live episode, man. Let some of y'all pile in, as we start this live session. Always dope doing a live episode. Don't be afraid to chime in. We do comment on comments. If you guys want to drop comments in there, we are definitely open to that. We like to start something new. We like to do a little icebreaker, as we start the episode. And today's icebreaker is if either of us, okay, we got Soj in here too. Here we go.
Mr. Breezy.
Yeah, rushed into the crib. My fault, y'all boy.
You good? Perfect timing. So the icebreaker for today is if you could be or if you could become elite at any sport instantly right now, aside from football, so we all play football, what would you choose? I'll let you go first, Warren. I'm sure Warren gonna say something crazy.
No, you know what? I'm really not. I'm gonna say golf, bro, because I hate being bad at golf, bro. I'm super competitive. I love the game, and just like I don't practice enough to be great or to be good or anything like that. But just like there's some sports that we just like naturally gifted at, and golf is just like not one of them. So if I had to pick one, especially for the bread that you can make with golf, winning these tournaments and all, bro, you can come in like 30th place and make six figures. Like, I mean, I'd have to go with golf for sure.
I'm gonna go baseball, y'all boys. And I don't know that many baseball players. Like right now, if I could think of it, I could probably name you like 3 baseball players. All I know is boys get that paid, fam. So if I could be like an Ohtani, that's how am I saying his name right?
Ohtani, yeah.
Like Ohtani, I could pitch and knock that thing out the park. And that check rolling in like that. Yeah. Put me on the what they say, the mount or whatever. Put
on the mount.
Give me that cheese, man.
Get right. See, for me, I was gonna choose baseball because that was my second sport, but I'm gonna go track. I'm gonna say I always wish I had elite speed, so I'm gonna say track. Put me on the line, 100 meter, try and be the fastest man in the world, match up against the Noah Lyles, like the Usain Bolt, those type of dudes. I mean, you working so hard your whole life for 9-10 seconds. Like if you don't show up, it's over with. Trying to make it to the Olympics, I think I would love to do that. So I'm gonna go with track on that one, man. Track, like that'll be. It is tough too. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, fam. Track that track that'll hurt your feelings. And when you growing up, you think
you fast?
I could just imagine how you saying was feeling though, like in that stretch where obviously he the greatest of all time, but when he was in that run where it's just like with them 2 Olympics that he was really breaking records, like I could imagine he just was on top of the world. It don't get no better than that.
Yes, sir. What up, Los, man? Appreciate you
Los?
with us.
What's up, fam? What you think y'all boys gonna do, man? There's a lot of chatter going on with the Pats, man. What y'all gonna do?
Right around the corner, too. Draft right around the corner, man. A couple weeks. Draft will be soon upon us. A lot of young players be reaching their dreams. So definitely, can't wait for that to happen. I think most people probably know who the number 1 pick is going to be. We assume it'll be Cam Ward, and we'll kind of see what happens after that. But, kind of along those lines, Warren brought up this topic, has ring culture really changed the way, we evaluate and judge players in all sports, not just football. You got basketball, you got baseball, you got, all these different sports. Has that changed the way we view these young players? Like if you don't win a championship as a quarterback, you're kind of in a different category. Or if you don't win a championship, if you're supposed to be a top NBA player, you're kind of in a different category. Do you think that's fair judgment, or can you still be, just as good as the Jordans or the LeBrons if you don't win a championship, a la Charles Barkley? I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I do feel like when it comes to a person's legacy, like rings do matter. Like you think about, like we talk about who's the greatest to ever play the game. Like we always, especially from a football standpoint, like it ain't no debate. I mean, we're gonna sit here and say Tom got 7 rings. Like Tom's done it. Like we're gonna talk about rings, right? Tom may not be the top in the stat book in every category, but I mean, we've seen him the way he plays, right? And so we always gonna put Tom in that category. But from an NBA side of things, like I don't know, it's hard because you look at guys that have some of the most guys that had the most number of rings in the NBA, right? Like the first guy that pops up in mind, he don't have the most, but I think he's got like 7. Robert Horry, right? Played with the Spurs, played with the Lakers, and another other team. But just like he's not one of the GOATs, right? He's not the greatest of all time. He's been a part of some really great championship teams. But then you got a guy like MJ and LeBron. Got guys like MJ and LeBron that we always debate like who's the greatest of all time. And obviously, my GOAT's with MJ. Yeah, my GOAT's MJ. But I mean, like, and the first thing I always go to is the rings, right? But you look at like what he's done for the Chicago organization. You look at what LeBron's done for Cleveland, for Miami, for LA. So it's a lot to throw in there. I do think that rings have ruined the conversation or has hindered the conversation just because like there's so much more that goes into what a player brings to their organizations, the organizations that they played in, you know, how their team works around them and whatnot. And then to also be able to win championships on top of that. But I mean, for me, like I said, my GOAT's MJ. You ain't taking that away from me regardless. Like what he did for Chicago, what he did for the brand, what he did for fashion with the Jays and all that stuff. Like everything he's done on and off the court, like plays a role into his legacy. But I do think the ring conversation really throws a wrench in some things for sure.
It do. And the thing about sports, man, I seen something earlier today on Twitter. It was just like, how didn't KD, Russ, and James Harden win a championship with that team? And right, like all 3 Hall of Famers, great players. Yeah. But the thing that I love about sports is it's the ultimate team game, bro. I don't care if you play baseball, football, soccer, whatever it is, you're going to have to, at some point, when you talk about winning a championship, rely on other guys to do their part. Perfect example, New England, right? Like obviously Tom Brady's the GOAT and has all the rings and has the resume, but along those championships, he had to rely on having great defenses, right? Like from the early 2000s. And then even, you know, in the later years, having to rely on good defenses and other players to as a team collective and win, you know, a championship. So I think ring culture has in a sense, I guess, ruined it because you're gonna have so many great players who not gonna win rings, bro. Like, you know, when I think of a great player that hasn't won a ring, obviously before my time, but like Dan Marino. I was watching one day on ESPN. They had like ESPN Classic when the Super Bowl was going on, and they showed like the AFC Championship with the Dolphins versus the Chargers, and Dan Marino was literally like Patrick Mahomes back then, right? Throwing for 300 yards, doing everything, making all throws, but never got that opportunity to win a ring. So I just think, man, as a sport, right? It kills me when I watch ESPN and I watch these shows and they're like, oh, this guy didn't win a ring and he don't got the ring. Like, no, like if you've been in these locker rooms and you've been on a chase to win any type of championship, whether that be on the high school level, the collegiate level, the NFL level, or the pro athlete level, like, it's way more that go into it than just like Tom Brady won this amount of rings, Lamar Jackson won amount of rings, or Lamar Jackson didn't win any rings, right? So I don't know, man, but I just think overall we got to give the whole team the credit instead of just focusing on one. But I do think it does play a big factor in that, and those rings matter a lot. Like you said, Warren, MJ, that's my GOAT. And I just take, obviously, for the simple fact that he went 6-0 in the finals, right? Like, that's unheard of. Pretty much, I feel like as an opponent, when you walked into that arena and you said, like, damn, we got to play the Bulls in the finals, I feel like it kind of was a mental game of, like, man, I already know this shit over, man, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I already know it's over. But the ring culture, I guess I would say, I don't know, I won't say ruining sports, but it is a wrench in it that I think that we got to kind of move away because it's a team game at the end of the day.
I think it's definitely negatively affected the way we judge players. I just think it's talked about a little too much because, as you mentioned, so there's going to be so many great players that, you know, may not even make it to a Super Bowl or, you know, may not even get a chance to win a Super Bowl. If you just look at the NFL currently right now, all these young quarterbacks that we have, you got, you know, the Mahomes, the Burrows, you got the Josh Allens, you got the Herberts, you got the Lamar Jacksons. it's gonna be a few of those dudes that maybe never make a Super Bowl and may not, even get a chance, to win a Super Bowl at all. Period. But to me, as I mentioned probably not too long ago, it don't take away from how good those guys are. I mean, a lot has to go right, for a team to go out there and win a Super Bowl. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever, so have you. You can be the greatest player on the planet. You can play perfect. But if the rest of your team plays terribly, you're probably going to lose. So I just think it's talked about a little too much. Obviously, Tom is, the greatest quarterback of all time because he has the championships. But to me, it's the mentality that he has, too, just like the ultimate competitor. Always has the opportunity to win, just like the Jordan, just like the LeBrons, like the Stephs. It's like ultimate competitors to where when they step out on that court, when they step out on that field, you know what type of day it's going to be. If you ain't at your best, you don't stand no chance to beat those type of dudes when they're on the opposing team. So I just think the rings are talked about, way too heavily, on talk shows, because I think it just takes away from how good some of these players. Like I said, Charles Barkley, one of the greatest players ever, but they always gonna hang that, no rings over your head. Like anytime they bring up a conversation about the greats of basketball, do I think when you have a bunch of rings, does that put you in a different category? Like a little, but yes, I do. But it don't mean like Charles Barkley not a great basketball player. Like I don't think you could do that to him. Right. So it's definitely tough. But the rings definitely, do matter for sure, 100%. But I just think for those guys that don't get the opportunity to win it, I just don't think you could take that and just really hold that against them. Just because, like I said, they could have done everything right, every single thing right, and still not win a championship. And that's just the way sports go. So it's definitely unfortunate. I mean, hopefully at some point, that conversation starts to slow down some, which it probably won't, but that's just wishful thinking, in my opinion. But I guess and along those same lines too, we kind of brought this conversation up. Like, what holds more weight to you guys? Either basketball, football, baseball, whatever it be, MVPs or championships? How y'all feel about that?
Woo! You're talking about in terms of like naming a better player.
That's what I was
naming a better player, like who you think is the greatest. Like say a dude, whatever, football player, a quarterback, he got a la Lamar Jackson. He got 3 MVPs, but no Super Bowls. Then you got, maybe a different guy who's I'm pretty sure he got either 2 or 3. He got 2 MVPs. He should have won 3 this year, but along those same lines, or something like that, he ain't got no Super Bowls yet. Then you may have a different quarterback who has 1 Super Bowl, maybe not as many MVPs. Like, how do you equate that?
I think it's a matter of my dog cutting up. All right, chill out, bro. I think it's a matter of like how you look at it. Obviously, the championship is going to be a team aspect of things, right? You have these great teams and all these players. I don't think you can judge a player individually off that. Now, again, it is a whole different kind of, room, that you can get into when you're talking on that level. So I think I think MVPs matter more if we're talking about individual wise. If this guy is the greatest player of all time or if he's in that type of conversation. I don't know. I just think championships is a whole nother category, bro. Because it take 11 guys or 5 guys or however many guys on the court, field, hockey ring, whatever it is. Like, it just take everybody to be dominant to win a championship. So
it's tough. I think the one position.
Dang, that's tough.
To me, the one position that it really matters for is just in football is quarterback. Like, that's always going to be them championships. You got to have championships to be considered, one of the best ever. And then similar to basketball, if you want to be one of the greatest basketball players, you gotta have those championships.
Let me ask y'all. A guy like Mr. Discount Double Check, bro, who in my eyes, bro, is like, it took me a while to really say, like, damn, bro, like Aaron Rodgers is really elite. Like, it's certain throws that he's making that I've seen him make certain throws that Tom, in my opinion, obviously Tom probably could make it, but
it's different.
It's only him in the league that can make that. So, but one ring has been on great teams, right? Like, there was a year, I think they went 12-4 or something like that. It was the number 1 seed. I think that was the year they lost to Tampa. Like, it just don't work out because team-wise, bro, I think special teams messed them up that one year, and that championship game was a big factor into it. You can't penalize your quarterback for a block punt or something like that. So how would you put Aaron Rodgers in that category? Just because he hasn't won the rings, he's not a GOAT. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I'm not saying that he's not
I like
one of the greatest. You go ahead.
No, I was just saying I like what Los just said about, like, you know, how the Super Bowls only pertain to quarterbacks, right? Why is that? Why is it that whenever we think about particular players, you know, we talked about receivers recently, right? We had that little debate about the best receiver of all time, the greatest receiver of all time, you know, between like our Mount Rushmores. And if I'm not mistaken, majority of the guys that we spoke about, except did Jerry won a Super Bowl, right? I would think.
Yeah.
But majority of those guys like did not win maybe one or two won Super Bowls. It just like that wasn't the first thing that we mentioned, right? Oh, they won this many Super Bowls. Or we only talk about it when it comes to Tom and the rest of the field. You know what I'm saying? So why is that, right? But then when we go to basketball, like, it's also a team sport, but yet the first thing we talk about is how many NBA Finals they won, right? Like, it's so interesting how we pick and choose like what we're going to use to define the greatness of a player.
Well,
like Perk said, not to cut you off, but Perk said it, you know, perfectly. Like in this day, he just said, you know, because QBs get the most blame and the glory, and I think that is the perfect, I want to say, like, way to sum it all up is when quarterbacks have really good games, we give them all the glory, and when they have really bad games, even though, and not, I won't even say even really bad games. Like I look at Dak Prescott as a perfect example. Everybody talks about, you know, the Cowboys can't get over the hump and they try to blame him. But in those playoff losses, he hasn't played bad. You see what I'm saying? But it all fall on four. It all fall on the quarterback at the end of the you know, the whole deal. So I just think as a sports media culture and from the media standpoint, I think the media controls that narrative. And I think as athletes that are coming in, we got to change that narrative. Like, bro, it's not all on the quarterback.
Well, I just think it's just as simple as this. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're not winning no championship. I think it's pretty much playing. Unlike any other position.
What's the quarterback for Baltimore? Back in like obviously Paul
Joe Flacco,
Trent Dilfer,
and Joe. I'd say Joe. Like I put Joe Flacco in that category as well. And don't get me wrong, Joe Flacco had a stretch where he was good. He was good. But you would never put Joe Flacco in that same conversation as Aaron Rodgers or even like, you know what I'm saying? So you've seen teams do it with, I won't say
he was giving you good QB play though. Like not saying that he was, you know, the greatest, you know, quarterback, but he's giving you good QB play. I feel like with more than any other position, if your quarterback is playing bad consistently, you stand no chance. Like, you can't.
Nick Foles.
Yeah, but he was playing good football. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He was on a good ass team too, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was.
But he did his part. He played clean, good football. Like, if he didn't do that, then they probably don't win the championship. You know what I'm saying? More than any other position, they have the ball's in their hands every single play on offense. And if, you know, they don't get the right mic points, if they don't do the right things, it's just, you really don't stand a chance. So I think that's really, you know, why that comes up. And look, I think everybody knows on their team. Like, I'm sure some of our teams at Wisconsin, if we had a little bit better QB play at times, we'd probably be in a better position every single year. No offense to any of my guys, my teammates, but that's just kind of is what it is. So if you have that elite QB play, that just really puts you in that next category as a football team. So I think that's really where that whole conversation comes about. Because you know, coming into the season, you got a certain guy underneath the center. Oh, you're like, okay, like we got a real chance here. You know what I mean? That's just really how it goes, in my opinion. And basketball is pretty similar too. If you one of those guys, you got one of those guys that you sign on your team or you draft number one overall, like, you want that guy to take y'all just by him coming onto your team. The expectation is like, all right, we have the ability to go to a championship as long as this dude is on our roster. So I think that's really what it, you know, really comes down to. And like I said, this is all subjective stuff, but QB is very, very important position in the game of football. Without it, without consistent QB play, you really probably don't stand a chance with it. But we'll go to the next topic. We saw Los. He said he fully expects the Pats to draft Will Campbell with their pick in the draft. Which, like I said, I don't mind that pick whatsoever, man. I'm a pretty big fan of his. I know the wingspan, like all that stuff with a little hand. I don't know what they're talking about as far as his measurables, but I mean, you turn the tape. He's a good football player. You hear some of his interviews. You hear the mindset that he has. I like it, and we need good offensive linemen, young ones that are going to be there to protect Drake May for a good amount of time. So I don't mind that pick whatsoever. But you know me, I'm still aboard the Travis Hunter train. I'm still aboard that train. Like I said, he is. Position flexibility. You can put him at receiver. You can line whatever. You can have packages for him on defense where he ain't got to learn the whole defensive playbook. Whether just throw him in on third down or throw him in certain personnel groupings. I'm still a fan of that just because I feel like if he's still there, when we're picking, to me he's the best player available. So I'm still aboard the Travis Hunter train.
I am too, but now seeing everything, saying that Travis might go second overall to Cleveland. It just gives me I really want him to go to New England. Obviously, just from us being on the pod with you and kind of I won't say becoming New England fans, but we actually now watch the Patriots games. I just think it's a perfect fit for him. I don't want to in a sense be negative, but I just feel like you go to Cleveland, like
tough spot.
I don't want to see him in Cleveland just because of they got some things that they got to figure out first. I really could see
Cleveland.
I really could see Abdul Carter still going too though, and pairing him with Miles.
That'd be lit right there.
That'll be lit as well. It's just so interesting to me just how the draft works because it's always that one team that's going to throw a wrench in there. It's going to be like, man, what the heck is this team doing? I hope it don't come between obviously 1 through 4 because I think we all assume Cam to go number 1. But, man, just with this whole thing, man, you just never know, right? Like, draft day come around, and with the first pick, we could get a name that we wasn't even expecting.
Or trade. Yeah, somebody traded up.
And it's going to shift the whole draft. But as far as Travis, I really want to see him in a Pats uniform just to be successful. Just pairing him with Vrabel, a guy that's been in the league, know what it takes as far as success-wise. You hear all the Coach Vrabel talk about, how he got them talk with him and meet with him at the combine, and he love him. So I just think it'll be a perfect spot for him as far as success-wise.
Yeah, most definitely. And kind of along those same lines, too. Warren brought up this topic again. He brought up a lot of topics before this, but are we overhyping some of these QB classes?
The brain was
with some of the narratives we see on TV. This QB class ain't overhyped whatsoever. This is probably one of the years where they're not hyping the QBs as much as usual. But do you think that's an issue? Is it media driven? What do you think the reason is for that? I know what the reason is, but go ahead.
I think it's media driven, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's media driven. I feel like I read some stuff today that was talking about Shedeur Sanders dropping all the way to like the 20s, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with how the media has been portraying him as this like cocky player or him just being Deion's son, right? So, I mean, I do think that, hopefully organizations are making their decisions based on the player's ability to play the game and how well they play their position. But I do think the media sometimes has influence on some of these organizations' decisions. Not all of them. Like, for example, they ain't throwing nobody on blast, but you'll have players that make a mistake off the field that's just like flat out dumb, right? And they'll still go top 5, top 10, based on who they are in particular. But, a lot of the times based on what media says about a person, it does have an effect on their draft position, what people think about them, or, people may think the media has certain information that they don't have or something like that, So I do think that a lot of it is media driven. And I think the Shedeur Sanders conversation is a perfect example of that.
Well, to me, it boils down to kind of what I was talking about before. you need a good quarterback to win football games. So sometimes teams are going to be a little bit more persistent at making sure they either trade up or select the guy, in the first round. They don't want to pass up on a dude and another team takes him. Then now they're sitting back like, man, like if we would just been a little bit more aggressive at getting the guy that we like we got to get him. And then, once one or two QBs come off the board and, there's only a certain little chunk of who they believe will be, good QBs. Any guy that gets drafted at any given spot or undrafted, they can turn into a good football player like Brock Purdy. But those guys that they expect to be drafted early, like once some of those guys get drafted, number one, number two, then they're like, you feel a little bit of pressure there. It's like, man, if we don't select our guy here in the first round, we might be kind of short, and we kind of got to wait till next year. Maybe we don't have a plan, or maybe we don't have a guy we believe in on our roster right now. So we gotta pull the trigger and go get him. So I think that's part of it, but like it is a media thing too, to where we kind of keep pushing like all these QBs and what they've done in college and this and that. Which, look, some of that will translate, some of it might not, as we've seen, all throughout these drafts over the last several years. But I think it just comes down to the QB just being such a prevalent and important position to where those guys they're gonna get drafted. A bunch of them get drafted in the first round, at least 2 or 3 of them every single year at the minimum.
I think who I think is in the perfect situation. I'm going to blame on his name. Quarterback from Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe. I think Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe, yeah.
And Jackson Dart to me.
Yeah, they good spot.
Perfect spot, right? Like you borderline first round, but you may go second. And Jalen Milroe to me, like I've been seeing him linked to Pittsburgh a lot, and Pittsburgh is a good team, right? I think it's all off fit. Obviously you go in that top 5, and in recent years, we've seen a couple quarterbacks come in and be just league ready off the jump. But I think it's becoming. You've heard Tom talk about it time after time. Like we don't give the young guys, even these quarterbacks, right, enough time to develop and become the great quarterbacks that we've seen from a lot of these other guys that had to, sit and wait their turn. Perfect example, Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, like those guys that had to sit behind somebody that was a pro and learn. And I think that's why, to me, like Shador going to the Giants, if I'm in the Giants organization, I feel like would be a perfect move because, again, I get it. You brought in 2 veteran quarterbacks, 2 really good quarterbacks, in my opinion. I know Jameis throw a lot of picks and all that stuff like that, but still a solid player. You have your franchise quarterback that can learn behind a Jameis or a Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and that can be your time to sit and understand and learn the game. I think guys like Cam Ward, and I see, Los talked about, Malik a couple years ago, like he went into situations where it really ain't give them the benefit of the doubt of being able to grow up to speed. It's the National Football League, man. These guys are good. Yeah. So I just think a guy like Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, who's going to go later on, they're going to be in a perfect situation. But the earlier guys, is media driven, from Todd McShay, McShay, all these guys.
Mel
Kiper.
Respect it. They're doing their job. This person goes top 5, all hats off to them. But I just think it's something that the media kind of, I guess, spins to his own narrative as far as quarterbacks.
And speaking of quarterbacks, Shador Sanders did have his pro day just the other day, and during his pro day or after the pro day, a current NFL safety, Andre Sisco, had some comments, or tweeted out some comments based on what he saw. He's like, hey, big fella, stop patting that football. We breaking on that early. What? Like I never really seen, somebody comment on somebody's pro day like this as far as getting tips and all that on, when to break on football. I don't play DB, I don't necessarily know. I've never. You can weigh in.
Yeah, that's what's pissing me off, and it's not in a bad way. Like but I'm sure he came in the league with a flaw that he had to figure out and get better at. You see what I'm saying? Like some DBs is they eyes. He always looking in the backfield, but if he always making plays, hey man, I can comment and say, bro, you're gonna have to fix your eyes, because quarterback's gonna take advantage of that. But just to kind of single that out was just a little like, come on, man. Yeah. We all done. I can't name many players that came into the NFL from college to the league that didn't have a flaw that you was gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, that you was gonna have to, I guess, correct at some point, right? And then also it's plenty of quarterbacks that's patting the ball before they throw
it. Like every quarterback in the league.
A lot of quarterbacks do that. I want to say Tom did it a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it says it's social media has, and again, he's an NFL player, a great player. But some of the stuff, man, you just gotta keep in the drafts, fam. You could type it up in the tweet.
Nah, bro.
You can type it up in the tweet.
Don't give no grace, bro.
Hey, he had one interception last year, so
that's what I'm saying.
He's breaking on.
What you breaking on?
Kids you talking about? Do that stuff with the vets in the league right now. Everybody got tendencies. That's crazy. Taking on a run. That's wild. I mean, I get it, but still, dog, like.
Again, fam, we don't on the pod, bro. We don't never, again, guys are NFL players for a reason.
Yeah.
But come on, bro. If you're going, I could understand if who had a lot of picks,
Xavier McKinney,
or Kirby Joseph for Detroit. Like if they came out and said it was like, like you ain't have to say that, but
okay, you be
really breaking on it. Like, but one pick last year, bro.
And Lowe's bring up a great point. I actually saw Aqib Talib and Pat-Man Jones on his podcast. They were talking about this comment, and Aqib was like, "Man, I ain't never had no time to look back at the quarterback to see if they patting the football." He said that's like you're not looking for that. I mean, as safety, I know as safety is a little bit different. Like he play in the middle of the field or something. Maybe he can see it from way back. I don't know, but it's literally like a millisecond. Like I don't think that's really giving you that much of an advantage to really break on. I think you breaking on it based off film study. Like, okay, you see number 2 going vertical. Oh, so number 1, he gonna be breaking inside. You know what I'm saying? I think to me that's more of a a key to anything versus you pat the ball. Like I've never really heard that before. Hey, if it works for Cisco, hey, more power to him. You know what I'm saying?
If I was an OC, Cisco, I'm finna double move the hell out of you.
Hey, bang, go,
bro. That's the key. He done already told you what he looking at. If you catch him, he breaking right away. Hey, we'll see. Week 2, I run a search route or something. I mean, we gonna figure out right then and there. If you really paying attention to patting that ball, you gonna find out right away. Is it gonna be split or it's gonna be a pick? So figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, not all eyes are gonna be on him this year. No, he gonna have to make some plays for sure. He definitely on everybody's radar.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you, everybody. Hey, so and so pat the ball. You ain't get that pick. So and so pat the ball.
Right. The tweets loaded up right now.
Hey, but it can work both ways though. I see it as maybe like it could benefit him, right? If
he's like, okay, I gotta be on now.
He go out there and he catch some books, like he gonna, what I'm saying?
Y'all,
Don't do nothing but boost his brand as far as a personal player. So it can either hurt you or it can boost you up.
Don't let Shador start this year. He catch a pick. Oh man!
Hey. I told him he pat that ball. We breaking on that early.
Right? He gonna let everybody have it. That happen for sure. That'd be insane if that ends up working out.
Don't get cooked though. Don't get cooked biting.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm telling you right now. They'll scheme it up. Oh, right here, third and 7. Yeah. He ultra aggressive. Hey, listen, we gonna pat it and we gonna run a from the slot. We gonna run something crazy. All you got to do is don't mess up the throw, bro. Just lob it. Don't overthrow him. Don't underthrow him. Just don't miss the throw.
Oh man,
we'll see. But now we just
see what happens. And other NFL news, our guy Tyreek Hill been back at it again over the last couple weeks or so, sending out his sub tweets or emojis and everything else, sending out deuces finger. We sent out the deuces after Terron Armstead retired or something like that. I don't know what Tyreek got going on. To me, I think he's just trolling, at the end of the day, because not too long ago he said, he was locked in. You don't think so? So you don't think he trolling? Think he dead serious?
I don't think he trolling, bro. I think he dead ass serious. You wanna know why, bro? Because the Dolphins ain't making no moves. Right? We got teams in the division getting better. Y'all, New England has gotten way better.
Talk to your organization.
Has added a lot of players and a lot of key pieces. Obviously Buffalo is where Buffalo is, and just seeing where it was last year, I really think I think he dead ass serious because ain't no moves. What you gonna rely on the draft? Which, don't get me wrong, you can, but not many teams, bro. I think people and fans don't understand. Not really many teams really hit completely on the draft.
Yeah.
So the way this looks, they're gonna be right back at either.
But I mean,
3 or 4.
On offense, they should be all right. They just got to get some offensive linemen in the draft for sure. But other than that, they should be all right. You got H.N., you got Wilder, you got Tyreek, you got Jonnu Smith at tight end. So it's just offensive line.
He's gonna be your quarterback all season.
That's what help. Yeah.
So those two things, right? Like, again, Tua, great quarterback, but we know what the report is on him, right? Health. If he's healthy, they could be a really good team. My thing with the offensive line comment is, how many times, out of a lot, how many times do you hit in the draft off an offensive lineman that is league ready right now? When I mean league ready, like go block TJ, go block Myles Garrett. I get it. We can game plan and help you out, but I just think it's so hard to find a league ready offensive lineman, and you ain't really making no moves in free agency as far as offensive lineman, and you just lost your future Hall of Famer, number one, lineman on the line. So I don't know. I think he's serious though. Y'all say he's trolling.
I think he's just seeking attention. I think he's seeking attention, man. I think that's all it is. You're not on the Chiefs no more. You're not that team that's in that limelight consistently. Now you gotta put yourself out there a little bit more. Now you gotta send out one of the random tweets, make everybody think you mad and this and that. So I definitely right. Them Twitter fingers. I think that's all it really is. He just tweeting, get ruffle people feathers a little bit. Tyreek angry. Nah, he ain't really angry. He out there outside in Miami, wilding out. That's what he doing.
If you ever want to get it off your chest, man, come on, the money down.
For sure, man.
With you for sure.
Man. Then we also, just the other day, we had an NFL great retire. Julio Jones officially retired from the league.
Shout out.
Man. Definitely one of the greatest to ever play. Definitely in our generation for sure. I remember watching him in high school on ESPN playing on there. They going to Bama, cutting it up there. Obviously going to Atlanta, doing his thing. And then, the last couple of years, he spent some time going to different teams and never really got to really show the true Julio Jones in the last couple of years. But, shout out to Julio, man. Great career, freak athletically, could jump out the gym, explosive. We've seen some crazy plays from Julio, throughout his career. I know this one of Soldier's favorite receivers ever played for his team, so I'll let you chime in on that too.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's kind of crazy because at some point you're gonna start seeing the greats, and obviously Julio is a great of my generation, our generation that we kind of, I won't say grew up watching, but as fans of football, we've seen them at the top level, and it's just surreal now to start seeing them, retire and kind of go on to the next phase of life, dog. I just, as the Falcon fan of this pod, the guy, just seeing the plays that he made, just that playoff run where we went to the Super Bowl. I remember he hit Green Bay for something like 200 yards in the NFC, Championship. And then the following, 2 weeks after that, cut up in the Super Bowl, right? So he's just one of those players that I think is going to be damn, as an Atlanta fan, we wish we could have got Julio one. But I kind of look forward to seeing that 11 get retired, bro, because he for sure deserve it, right? He deserves his number retired at Bama, because just how he's able to I'm gonna say transcendent position because there's been receivers like him, but I kind of put him in that same category as like a Megatron. But he was a little bit I won't say faster because we know Megatron was fast.
More quick, I would say. He's a little bit more quick. Yeah.
What was more quick? I think it's Frozen, but was more quick. And man, shout out to Jet Jones, man. Retirement, enjoy it, bro. You've done everything you could, and I'm kind of upset that we wasn't able to close a deal for you up in Houston, man. Against you should have had you one.
At least.
I mean, I'll never forget that catch he made in that Super Bowl on that sideline. That jump happened right on our sideline. I remember, like, he went up. I was like, that's incomplete, man. Ain't no way he caught that. Like, we all the running backs on the side, that's incomplete. Looked up at that replay board, like, oh, nah, he got that. Like, he got that. Like, and only so many receivers could go up and go over top of a DB. They ain't there flying out of bounds, get two toes down, and get in bound. That play was insane, man. Yeah, put that up there, Pert, man. That joint was crazy. Good coverage too.
Ryan sticks through it, throws on the run.
I don't know.
Jones with a catch.
Bro,
Phenomenal catch by Julio Jones on the sideline.
I have no idea how in the world he came down with that catch. Look at it. Bro.
I have no idea how Matt Ryan gets this ball in there,
I got to
and
see
how
that,
Julio
man,
Jones is able to make that catch and keep his
feet
feet
forgot about that. Yeah,
bro, he's
it's
gangster,
unbelievable
bro.
coverage.
Not even just the game, but he do that junk in practice, bro. That boy, transcendent receiver, dog.
Yeah, real deal. Hold it like that. That joint is that's that joint that happened in Madden. You say it's fake. That's a pick, man. Ain't no way he catching that. All that, but yeah, definitely crazy. Shout out to Julio Jones. Definitely one of the best to do it at the receiver position. Congrats on your retirement. We'll turn the subject to some college football. We're starting to see some tweets and some posts on Instagram as far as the college football 26 game. Hey,
shout out to House Nation too.
Yeah, shout out to House Nation for tuning in. But yeah, flag football coming to the Olympics, so everybody better get tapped in. They may have some tryouts or something. Maybe they get some civilians out there. I think that'd be fire. Get some civilians alongside some NFL greats, and maybe even some some current flag football players. As we saw, the current U.S. flag football quarterback. He was saying, they need some respect too. So I love to see a mix of a type of players in the U.S. Olympics. That'd definitely be fire. But we've been starting to see tweets and posts on Instagram about college football. 26. Like, what would you want to see in college football 26 based on the game had a little resurgence last year, a lot of excitement there. So people definitely gonna want to see some improvements. I'll let Warren start this off because I know he probably has a long list of what improvements you want to see. So, what you want to see on there, bro?
Man, bro, I missed the last NCAA that was out where you could start from like high school, you can play all the way up to the high school like national champ or high school your state championship. Pick your college and all that stuff. So I would love to see and everybody talk about it. I would love to see the high school circuit back in there. Definitely want to see the mascot games back in there. That was always fun. I think those are my main, just for a little bit of change up. But what could I see better? You know what, bro? I ain't gonna lie. 25 was nice. I really enjoyed playing college football 25, bro. It was a nice comeback, a really nice resurgence. I think that 26 is just gonna be that much better. What I would say, bro, some of the stuff that gave me some sleepless nights was some Ultimate Team games, bro. Some Ultimate Team games, dog. Oh, hey, look, and I'm tired of spending $100 and something just to get one good card, bro. Like, give us some better odds in them packs, man, and stop playing. Like, you pull a particular pack and say, you got like a 30% chance to win an elite, rare, legendary, whatever it is, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, and I hope my wife ain't watching this, bro, but I spent about $200 on some packs, bro. And struck out, bro. Struck out every single time, dog. Never again. Never again, bro. I don't even know if I should have shared that information, bro. Somebody get
You
text
should have
or a
kept,
phone call.
that one to
I
yourself.
should have kept that
You
to
should probably
myself.
tap in. You should
I
get a
was about to ask that, y'all boys.
text.
Y'all know I don't play Ultimate Team. I be hearing y'all on the mic talk about, like, y'all pulled this card and X, Y, and Z. How much bread y'all think y'all done spent, though? That's what I mean.
Over the course of 25?
$0.
Zero for you?
I ain't paying no. I paid like that. I paid the extra amount to get like a little bit of coins on the game. Like when you first purchase the game, but I ain't paying no money after that. Ain't nothing. Ain't worth it.
I'm gonna keep it with you.
Video games have, bro. Fortnite ruined, like in a sense. Fortnite was, in my lifetime, one of the best games that ever come out. But they ruined the video game.
Now, every game you gotta pay to get.
Every game now do it, bro. Every game now do it. Dog. You gotta pay $20, $40 per season, which the season change every 2 months.
Yep.
Just to get certain stuff out of it, man. That's like crazy. So the video game world, bro. If you play games, I know you feel it, bro. Because I done spent my fair share of bucks on Fortnite. Not no more.
See, like I don't spend a ton of money on like Fortnite and Duty and all that stuff. It's always the sports game. I don't spend it on 2K. It's literally Madden Ultimate Team and college football Ultimate Team.
2K the worst. 2K the worst.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. I take that back. That VC is, bro. They get taxing, bro. Yeah. I spend a nice chunk of change on VC too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and with the like every game, like with the season pass, like it's dang near impossible to just play the game and get the season pass. They want you to pay so you can jump, level all the way up. And it's like, come on, man, like they doing too much, man.
The homie was playing a couple nights ago. He was like, bro, I need to go buy some Gatorade. I'm like, fam, do you get right? Lou, not Lou Will. I'm going blank on his name. Oh, so funny, bro. What's bro name?
on the game or
on the podcast? He on the 50. Is it 501 podcast? Jeff T just talked about when he got to the league. His favorite perk was getting free Gatorade. Why am I paying money to get Gatorade so I can shoot better on the game?
Last for 3 games.
Have some more energy.
It only lasts for 3 games, bro. And here it is, us, bro. I'm gonna shoot better. We gonna spend a little 20 just to 3-4 games, and right back next night playing like crap. So yeah, 2K or worse, bro. 2K or worse than that.
It definitely is, man. Some things that I would like to see in college football 26 for me, when you pick one of those smaller programs, you start with a 1-star program, and then you go out win a national championship, maybe even move to a bigger conference, SEC, Big Ten, or something like that. I would love to be able to upgrade the stadium. That's what I love to do. I need the stadium's a little small. We start winning a couple chips. I need about 80,000. I don't want to be playing over 40,000 no more. I gotta.
That'd be cool if you could be like the as the coach or whatever, because obviously once you go into like your dynasty mode and whatnot, but they give you like a NIL cap or something like that, just something make believe, you know what I'm saying, just like an NIL amount, and it goes toward like you can pay particular players in the transfer portal and bid and whatnot, and then pay for upgrades to your stadium, but that affects your NIL, like where you can pay certain players, so on and so forth. I think that'd be a cool addition to the game at some point.
Yeah. I would definitely love to see NIL in there for sure, because I thought it was going to be in there in this past one, but yeah, and that recruiting, because me and Warren had a little dynasty going on. I remember I forgot what team I had, but I might have had Florida. I'm trying to recruit all these Florida players, and Miami was stealing all my players, all my 5-star, my 4-star, and I had just whooped them. They were stealing all my recruits. So I need a little NIL. I need them to persuade them a little bit, man. They were stealing all my recruits.
Hey. And your coaching pipeline should not affect the jobs that you can get, bro. Me and James had this dynasty. I had who did I start off with? I can't remember. I had North Carolina for the longest time, right? And winning bowl games, making it to the Natty, winning the Natty. Why are my best head coaching jobs still like Kennesaw State and Liberty. Well, let me get a Bama. Let me get a Florida. Let me get a Wisconsin or Georgia. I can't, but like, you can't. I'm getting DC jobs and OC jobs, but I don't want that. I'm a 2-time national championship coach. Give me something good. Where they was trying Coastal Carolina head coach. I don't want that. Bro, fix that.
Y'all know how I feel, bro. I don't want to see no streamers talking about bro. Shoot the game to some people who done played college football, who know how it really works. It's nothing against streamers, but fam, come on, get a game to guys like Warren and James who actually play it a lot, instead of having somebody who just stream on TikTok be able to kind of dictate, kind of persuade what y'all put in the game, bro.
Hey, it's funny, bro. Nuthouse Nation just put up, ain't nothing like having Shane Gillis in the game. That's who I lost all that bread trying to get that I couldn't get, bro. That 98 overall Shane Gillis, bro. I lost 200.
That's an MLB player for real?
Yeah.
Shane Gillis is a comedian.
Oh,
he's a comedian.
Oh.
Yeah. But they made him a middle linebacker in the game. They gave him a middle linebacker card, and you could he's like one of the limited packs. Bro, I spent 200 bones trying to get that. Bro, could not get him, bro. That just had me hot.
One other thing, they need to fix the pursuit angles too. Pursuit angles is terrible in that game. Somebody turn that corner, it's over with. Not everybody dipping out on people, man. People get ran down every game now, so we got to fix that. Ain't no way an 88 speed running back should be turning the corner on me and leaving me for 80 yards. Man. If I got some 95 speed DBs, they should be running them down every now and then now. So I definitely see that, happen, man. But we had some other news in sports. We got to talk about Ja Morant, man. Just the other night, he's back at it again doing his, fake guns.
Funny as hell with the
gun. But dog still got his spy in his pocket.
Back here, bro. Perk, you funny.
I don't get it, man. Like I know that's like the thing and everything with the kids, point. We saw Kyra Lacey from LSU, early in the year last year, him pointing the guns at people, and then we saw the dude from South Carolina do the whole like emptying the clip on somebody. Like, so to me, like, this is what it's all about to me, because Ja Morant keep doing it, them young college players,
bro.
They gonna keep doing it. You got.
I ain't gonna lie, he got the big boy with that. I didn't know
that boy stretched the arms out for that.
Yeah, that ain't no 9, fam. That's
AK. Nah, he's definitely tripping, man. Like, you got your own shoe, got your own signature shoe, you got all these deals, but you're gonna keep doing, this silly. Like, I know that one like a dance or that little TikTok dance you're doing, but you gotta chill, man. Just vibe. Figure out a different celebration. There's a different way you can celebrate the game without, doing fake guns and all that. You can still be excited, show your personality, everything. But let's just leave the fake gun pointing and all that. You gotta let that.
Hold on. So since we started recording tonight, he pulled out a new Selly. So he said I'm putting the guns down, and instead, let's pull the pin on this.
What did he just do?
He just pulled a grenade and threw it into the
man.
Bombs away.
And it's so crazy, like, dog. I think, bro, and you can't, it's no way that you can put people in these, I guess, predicaments or situations, but like, you want to throw grenades, you want to, and it's not just Ja Morant, there's any player, like, you want to, it's nothing like actually being around that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't care what you like. I got family that stay in the hood and all that stuff, and you might hear gunshots and like that ain't no normal, like that ain't no normal feeling to just feel, bro. So I don't think it's something to just play around with and emulate, bro. Because when it get real and shots are fired for real, your ass ducking, bro. Or you trying to wait. So I don't know.
Also, just like
to deal with it. I don't know.
also just like people losing their lives over guns, bro. And the fact, and the thing
Exactly.
is like, we talk about how I don't want to say the youth is how the youth ain't messed up. It's just the
Easily
stuff that they
influenced.
see, how easily influenced they are, right? And now you got like high profile athletes celebrating with guns. You got thinking it's cool to have guns. Now everybody got a switch or something, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, and they using it. Like it ain't like it's just for show. Like people using it, bro, every day, killing people, bro. So like, why continue to influence violence? Like it don't make no sense to me. Like I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like some of that stuff some of the sellings be smooth and whatnot. Like I give it to, but it's just like when it's something like that, like at some point we got to be able to put all that away. You know what I'm saying? And help our next generation or the people that you're influencing see something a lot better and influencing them to do something different that's going to be better for them, because whatever you're doing right now is not helping the cause at all.
It's whack, bro. And like James say all the time, myself, Warren, we all say it, bro. It's the music, dog. That's like all of it. It's the music. I think a lot of these songs boost you up to feel like, you'll do something. Like, bro, that ain't no good feeling of, having to be in that stuff like that, bro. Mm-hmm. So it's the music, fam. And I can go a little bit more deeper into how I feel about that particular situation, but again, it ain't gonna be nothing positive that come out of it. I'm gonna say something that, you know what I'm saying, might not be the right thing to say, but it's whack, bro. It's extremely whack. It's
facts.
It's whack to be you know what I'm saying, posing with, on a court or on a football field, celebrating a play, acting like you have a weapon. When half of us, some, don't get me wrong, there's some guys that come from that, and there's some guys that had to grow up in those type of environments. But then again, it's a lot more that didn't grow up in that didn't have to pick a pistol up, that didn't have to do X, Y, and Z that are doing this. Like, I don't know Ja Morant's upbringing, but like I've seen people talk about, right? Like he might have went to a private school or something like that. He come from a decent family, like. Fam, you ain't got to point no gun at nobody, bro. Come up with a Ja Morant celebration, bro, and run the bag up, because that's what kids are going to do. I.e. Steph with the sleep, i.e. Bron with the step. Like, it's ways to come up with a celly that can turn your brand up in the right direction versus hurting your business, your brand and your business, because you're portraying something that you not, dog.
Yeah,
especially when you.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, I'm saying, and the goal is to get away from that. Like, so why, so why are we promoting that? You know what I mean?
Music.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with the music, like you got it. We listen to some of the same music that he listened to, but we know not to go out here and be pointing like guns. Like we not trying to be promoting that on national television where the whole world watching. Like, you got to separate the two. Like you can listen to NBA YoungBoy and all that stuff, talking crazy and this and that, but you don't need to be promoting that on TV, man. We just.
And what kills me, bro, is half the time in music, the people who rapping it ain't the people that's doing it. Ain't doing that.
They not doing it. They not doing it.
You might have a person that running your camp or whatever that's really living like that, and whatever the case may be, is not right, but. You the one putting the message out, and if it all hit the fan, if it really had to hit to that point, you wouldn't do none of that. So it's all, bro, a facade, man. I'm not talking about. I'm just saying with a lot of stuff with the music industry, it's all a facade, man. We got to figure out a way, just in general, how to get the younger generation to see that. You got to be able to decipher what's real and what's fake. That's all I'm saying.
Most definitely. And along the same lines of basketball, we had some kind of surprising news today in the NBA. Mike Malone, Denver Nuggets head coach, was fired. I mean, this is a playoff team, a team that can be making the playoffs. Yeah. Playoffs right around the corner, too. And they decided to fire their head coach. It was quite a surprise for me. This team just won the championship, just like 2 years ago or so. And they've been a very good basketball team over the last couple of years, too. So this was very strange. But I mean, like we starting to see these random type of things happen in all sports for real, where some good coaches or this and that end up getting fired after a couple years after winning the championship. I know Warren sitting in the chat that it's like rumors that he was treating Jokic and Jamal Murray a little bit, giving them a little bit favorable treatment, which that's a real thing in sports. I mean, especially
that's life.
Yeah, well, especially you the franchise players, they gonna get a little bit of preferential treatment. That's especially in the NBA. We see that all across the NBA. Dudes who are your guys are gonna get taken care of a little bit, but to me, it got to be a little bit more to the story. To be getting fired literally right before the playoffs, they're like a number 4 seed in the West. I mean, to me, it's clear that they probably ain't gonna end up winning the championship this year. That's too much, too much going on. So I don't know how y'all feel about this.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was in the group chat. I think it was Braylon. What's it? Somebody messing with somebody old lady.
Something like that. But then they fired everybody. They fired the GM and I don't know. It don't make sense. But like you. Yeah, I think so too. But like James said, bro, I just don't understand the move right before. I mean, we're talking about the playoffs starting next week, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was really something where it's like, coach showing a little bit more favoritism to, Jokic and Jamal Murray, which in any sport, we all know that goes on, right? So on the football field, Tom gonna get a little bit more leeway than anybody in the, same thing. We're talking about how many MVPs have Jokic won? Like, he's a multiple-time MVP winner. Of course, he's gonna get 3. He's gonna get he's gonna get favoritism within the building. My question is, what player felt like that out of the team? Because if you felt like that, you obviously know that. So I just don't see how that will become a factor this late in the playoff. And then my whole thing has been, if you're gonna fire him, just wait until y'all lose. Like, I don't know. It's all type of weird stuff that go on, and I just think I wish at some point it's a lot of the times that we could actually get the real story, truth about what's going on. Because I think as fans, for you paying your hard-earned money, and we talking about fans that pay thousands of dollars to go to these. You don't have to know everything, but I think some stuff as fans you should know, because I'm paying my hard-earned money. I want to know why we just fired our coach that won. I don't know how many championships Denver has won, but in recent years,
they might have just been that one.
Yeah.
Why did you fire the coach that has won us our only championship? And don't tell me it's because he showed our 2 star players favoritism when that goes around all over the league. People deserve a real answer.
I know. So Ibrahim put in the chat. He said thoughts on the Cavs. Y'all think they got a chance to win the finals? To me, the Cavs they one of them teams to me. They good team, good regular season team where you get in the playoffs and stuff just be a little bit different. Like, could this be their year? I don't know, but I gotta see it to believe with the Cavs. They just one of those teams to me. I don't see it happening, but it'll be cool for Donovan Mitchell though. They got a good football team, good basketball team. So I just don't believe in the Cavs. I don't know how y'all feel.
I mean, somebody gotta show me they can beat Boston. That's probably what it is. Like, it all sound good when you're in the regular season. Get to the playoffs, somebody gotta show me they can beat Boston. And Boston gonna be. We know how they get when they come around this time. They might sweep. They might sweep they whole way to. Now I'm saying this year, but I'm just saying previous year they've won 4 gentlemen sweeps to get to the final. Somebody gonna show me they can beat them in a 7-game series. You see what Melo put? Melo put. Y'all seen his
I saw somebody tweeting about it.
I didn't see it.
I didn't actually listen to it, but maybe it must have been a sign of what was about to happen or something. Because
he called him out.
You call?
He said people ain't watching film and ain't playing like. So yeah.
Got a little spicy. Yeah. So hey, players probably rubbing the wrong way and stuff. So look, NBA players, they got a lot of free time to do whatever the heck they want. So you ain't got to be locked in, but they end up showing up on the game day. So I can see him. He must have been really frustrated with what's going on and stuff wasn't changing. And maybe he was probably complaining to, ownership and all that. And they weren't seeing no results. So kind of
James, say this before you switch topics or we close out. I've been seeing on Twitter, they've been saying Jokic might be getting traded or something. Like not obviously not right now, but in the future, I think the Lakers are, the gambling world got the whole odds and all that stuff.
With Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So this in Miami, if y'all trade the
empty it.
Y'all want
change
everybody to hit the free agency.
Change down here in South Beach, bro.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Eat something. Warren.
We ain't trying to be like them Bulls. We ain't trying to be like them Bulls now.
Yeah, no. Hey, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. As much as I love my Bulls, bro, I feel like we do this junk on purpose, bro. I really do. We feel like I feel like our front office makes sure that we're just good enough to make it to the play-in game because he knows that Chicago fans are loyal. So we're not happy with just making the play-in game, but we're gonna continue to watch. We're gonna continue to watch and have hope because we're making the playoffs. But I really don't think that Chicago's making the moves to get themselves back to where we were in the 90s, bro. I really don't. I don't think they care to do it either. I think they just want that bad. They want to make it to the playoffs. They want them ticket sales and all that junk, and that's it. Because, bro, really, we ain't made. Bro? Yeah, bro.
Man, we in 2025. Right?
Hey, 90s? Hey, when was the last time we was really elite? Like, for real. I know, when we had the
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, you're right. But still, again. I just, like, I don't know if we really want to get there. We ain't been acting like it from a off-season standpoint and whatnot. Like, we're not making the moves we need to.
Yeah.
But, don't we see y'all in the play-ins? Hey, we might see y'all in the play-in.
Y'all saw us in the play-in last year, bro, and y'all last
week. We about to smoke. Hey, we about to.
We're going to send y'all packing before we go packing.
No, before we go, bro. We got vengeance, boy. We got vengeance.
Nah, ain't nothing.
He talked the most every time.
We about to wipe y'all, boy.
Y'all are trash. But before we wrap up, we about to
make it to the finals.
Right, bro.
We the most delusional.
I'm joking, bro.
Between the Rams and Chicago, like I don't know, but I love it, fam. You are the true definition of a diehard fan of your team.
I'm a diehard fan for sure. Now I'm gonna keep it
like you in the sports. We need more fans like you in the whole.
I'm gonna keep it real, bro.
Gotta believe.
I'm gonna keep it realistic. Hey, we gonna smoke Miami. We're gonna smoke Miami. We're gonna make it to the first round. You know what I'm saying? And I do feel like we got what it takes to take it 6. But I don't know if we're gonna get out the first round after the play, to be honest with you. But the Rams winning the Super Bowl this year, best believe.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, that's all I'm gonna say.
Before we wrap, we're gonna talk. We had the men's and women's college basketball championships over the weekend. We had UConn take down South Carolina. Paige Beckers got her championship, and then the last night, which I fell asleep on the game, like literally at crunch time. Houston versus Florida. Florida ended up coming back on Houston. The coaching line way out, but Florida came back and beat Houston. Looked like Houston, they had the right game plan. They was taking Walter Clayton out of the game. He had 0 points at halftime, and somehow some other players stepped up. They found a way to win it, man. I don't know if y'all have any thoughts on that. I got lucky. I picked Florida. I ain't make no bracket, but I picked Florida to win it all. They ended up winning it. It was looking kind of sketchy, but shout out to Paige Beckers too, because really she was like the Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark really popped on to the scene. Got hurt a little bit, throughout her career. Then she gets to cap off her senior year, winning the championship. So the WNBA about to get real spicy off in that thing in a couple of years. Juju get there and everything like that. So I think this is gonna be great for the WNBA. Shout out to Paige, shout out to UConn. Gino back at it again. I heard he got like 12 chips in like the last however many years, which is insane.
Wow,
and the competition's definitely gotten better, within the women's college basketball too. I don't know if y'all had any thoughts over the championship weekend in college basketball.
I was satisfied. Obviously, It looked like I knew UConn was on one when they whooped UCLA the way they whooped UCLA.
Yeah.
UCLA, and I haven't paid much attention at all, throughout the year of women's, college basketball, but I just always would check the scores, and UCLA was punishing everybody. So for them to handle UCLA the way they did, I kind of knew that South Carolina was going to be in some trouble, especially with some of the the position battles that they were having trouble with throughout the year. They obviously missing a big that can really be dominant, and I'm sure, right, South Carolina, there's one of them teams that they're going to go out and get that. I think they just got the number one scorer last
yeah, quick from Florida State.
LSU, like really just lost 2 years ago. They went and grabbed her, right? So they're gonna make a push and a run, but kind of knew it was just UConn's year, and then Florida as well, right? Florida kind of got out as far as winning the Nash, got on kind of late. I know a lot of people probably picked Auburn just the way they were playing throughout the year. Just to see them battle in that game, bro, because if you watch that game, it looked like Houston was going to run away with it big.
It did, yeah.
And, Florida kept chopping at it, and then finally they went on that run. I actually left and didn't catch the end of the game, but it was just dope to see that, they end up, winning the whole thing late. So I think it's just good for sports, man. It's been a good time for sports.
Any thoughts, Warren, or you good?
Nah, man. Bro, shout out to Paige. Is Paige Beckers. Shout out to her. Getting that chip. I mean, dude, I ain't gonna lie. I thought South Carolina was gonna run away with it again, bro. Just like what Don Staley's been doing with that program, bro. I thought they had another one in the bag. But yeah, that was a great game. And then I had Florida winning it all, but part of me actually kind of wanted to see Houston win it. To be honest with you, just because sometimes it's just a team that you don't often see getting there and whatnot, winning a chip. I think that's just good for the sport, right? Obviously, Florida with the history that they've had and things like that, like that's awesome for that program. But I was, even though I had Florida winning, I would have liked to see Houston win too. It was just a great game. Houston been playing great defensively all year, and in that tournament, it was just a couple plays down the stretch that literally could have changed that game the opposite way.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's situational basketball, man. You gotta play your best in them last couple minutes of the game. I mean, they were able to play very good against Duke, in that Final Four game, and kind of flip the script on them. Florida played well in the last couple minutes, and Houston did it. So that really what comes down to it. But that's a wrap for this Money Down podcast on the Believe Network. We appreciate you guys tapping in with us. Appreciate House Nation. Appreciate you, Los, for tuning in. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another live episode. Appreciate y'all.
If you on duty for dance,
let's get it. We dropping in.
Might have dropped in a couple times, so I gotta go to sleep.
We at the sleep. We at the stove, man. Come on.
Feel like game 7. Put lines up through my S's.